Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle and I have a new Versus review for you. I am putting the reissue Beast Wars Tigatron up against the War for Cybertron Kingdom Tigatron. We'll go through each of them, see which is better, and you can let me know which one you like. Be right back. So we'll start with the reissue of the original, though it's not exactly a reissue of the original Kenner/Hasbro. There I was, walking through the aisles of Walmart, trying to avoid some of the more interesting folk, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a Tigatron and a Scorponok too. So I saw these the day before and picked them up. The Hasbro Pulse special that basically said, hey, these are coming out and will be out this spring. So I got them before they were supposed to be out, as I've heard a lot of people have. And what surprised me is the original Kenner/Hasbro Tigatron that was released in the US was kind of this off-white yellowish type thing. Now, when I first started collecting Beast Wars, I was a little late to the party, so I actually got a lot of Takara versions, and this is a spitting image of the Takara version, who I saw was white and pretty much matched the show colors. I later on found out that the Hasbro/Kenner one was off-white, and I did pick one up to add to my collection because I was a completist, and then later on it got sold. I do definitely like the Takara version, and that is what they released in this reissue, is the Takara coloration version and not the original US release. So he's basically a repaint of Beast Wars Cheetor. He's got the tail gun, he's got the gut gun, he's got the ability to do his full Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can even put the toes up. He's got a crotch guard because he needs to guard his crotch. Because, you know, Air Racer might have some kind of use for it. I don't know exactly what. His legs bend at the knee. He doesn't have any foot articulation, but he's got the full ball joints at the shoulders. He can bend at the elbow pretty much all the way. Can't move the fists. The head does turn, which is kind of neat. And also, like a lot of the original Beast Wars, he's got that mutant head, which we didn't really like to use, but apparently they decided to put it on the mutant Tigatron as an homage to this, and on the Shadow Panther, because, you know, they want him to have a funky looking head. Yes, the original Beast Wars toys had mutant heads that were more bestial in nature, and they had their robot heads. On the show, he used his regular robot head, and he kind of looked like he had facial hair. He kind of had more cat-like features on his face on the show than on this toy, but still a cool toy. I like it, and I kind of missed my Takara version, so I'm glad they reissued it, though costs more than the one that I imported from Japan. Next, we have the Kingdom version. So he also has weapons. It's pretty much his gut gun, kind of, but I don't know that they meant it to be. I don't know. It's got like slimy looking organic stuff on the gun. And he's got a tail weapon that does not become a gun. And his head does turn, so that's very nice. His features look a lot more similar to the character on the show. He can do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme, though you have to kind of move his butt flap up in order to do that. And he can even go toes up with the Jean-Claude Van Damme. But he can kick, he can punch, he can side kick. The legs are very poseable. There is a little bit of movement here in the foot, so you could have him stepping a little bit. Not a lot of swivel for wider stances, but maybe a slight bit. Arms, they're the pinned ball joint, so they can go in a lot of directions. They actually feel a little more constrained because of these parts of his transformation than the reissue version, but he still has a great range of motion, and unlike the other one, you can actually turn his fists, which is neat. He also has waist articulation. Now the other one kind of does too, but you have to lift up his flap in order to do it, so it doesn't really count. But overall, a very cool figure, a great representation of the original one, even if I didn't quite like him as much in the War for Cybertron Kingdom show. But there they are. The new Tigatron is a little bit taller than the old one, which kind of makes some sense because he should be. Cheetor and Tigatron always called each other Big Cat and Little Cat, and that wouldn't make sense if they were actually the exact same size. But there we go, cool figures. Let's check out the beast modes. So there is Tigatron in beast mode. As you can see, he skips front leg day and definitely concentrates on his back legs. Don't ask me why. But again, repaint of the original Beast Wars Cheetor. You can't really move his front legs. His back legs have quite a bit of posability. I don't know how natural it is. And mouth doesn't open. He's got the gut gun. Now this is actually a water squirter, so you can fill it with water and then you can squirt someone who does not suspect that this is a water squirter. I do not advise this, but you can do it. So limited posability in beast mode. The tail, if it flips up, it's kind of like reveals the gun and looks a little dirty. But there's beast mode for Reissue Tigatron. So there is Kingdom Tigatron in tiger mode. And overall, looks a little more realistic as a tiger. Though I have to say I'm a little disappointed with the tail. The tail, you can't really move it. I mean, you have to lift up the whole caboose, which is not what should be happening. Posability in the back legs, you can kind of move them out a little bit, which I don't know if they're supposed to. You can move the front paws around a little bit. His mouth does open, so that's kind of neat, so he can bite somebody. Other than that, not a heck of a lot more posability on this one. I mean, yes, you can move the arms a little bit in the front more. So yeah, definitely more posable, but a couple things that I'm noticing, like it has some, and I don't think that this is just on mine, I hope not. It has some yellowish coloring on parts of the tiger form. So he's not a pure white tiger. It's got like tan on his back. It's almost a slight orange. So I don't think that is sun damage. That'd be friggin' weird. So I'm not too fond of that part of the coloration. I don't think it should really be. I think it should just be white, but for some reason they decided to add these tones. Maybe that's what they are naturally in the wild, you know, having blotches of off-white, but they didn't need to. Now, the tail weapon is obviously the tail. The gut gun actually attaches to its guts. And I'm not very fond of how that goes. I mean, pointed to the back, doesn't look much better. I actually prefer the way that it's kind of hidden on the original one to this one. But in other respects, I think he's more accurate. But the gut gun just being stuck down there, not a fan of that. As you can see side by side, Kingdom 1 is a bit taller. Now I did want to do a comparison with the Kingdom 1 next to Cheetor, and Cheetor is smaller, but I would think he would be actually a lot smaller than Tigatron. Tigers probably being much larger than cheetahs, but at least they did make it so that there is a difference between these two. This is not just a repaint of Cheetor, which they could have done, maybe remolded the face, but I do like the new Kingdom Tigatron in relation to Cheetor. At least he's bigger, at least he's a bit different. So he could be Big Cat and this be Little Cat. But there you have it. I think that while the Kingdom might have some new technology and new techniques, you gotta respect the original Beast Wars, but this isn't about my opinion. What's your opinion? Which one do you like better, Takara version or the Kingdom version? You let me know down in the comments, and while you're debating that, or maybe you're trying to figure out which one you should get, or maybe you want to get both, I'll put links down in the description to both these guys. Hopefully you can get them at reasonable prices. In the meantime, you can check out some other videos. There's a subscribe button. If you liked this video, give it a real big like, share it with some friends, and definitely leave a comment. Let me know which one of these guys you like better, or if it's a tie, that's valid, or if you hate them both. We'll see you next time, and as always, have fun and good hunting.